Here, we will have broken down the dollar, the Bitcoin, the S&P, the NASDAQ. We'll go over the Dow and the Russell. But then after that, I will turn to the chat. We'll break down a few tickers there. There is a purchase that I am making tomorrow that I just, I'm already getting a million questions on. So that will actually get its own video. But I did make a change as far as the growth count. Growth count being the account that I post all my plays in. Again, beginning of the year, we started at 0. I put $150 in, and we're growing. So I post all the plays. And if you're new here, that is on the Patreon. Just check that link out in the comment. The reason why I'm doing that started from 0. We're at 15,000 now. Is to show the stages of just where I would be at, how I would trade, how in the beginning I took very little trades versus how much more it will ramp up when you have the appropriate funds to do so. And again, I think a lot of people, they do it. It's very opposite. They think, man, I should probably, I'll take a quick little gamble. I'll do this or I'll do that, or I'll buy the cheap options contract. And if it goes off, I'm good. They think they're just going to jump ahead real quick and then they'll just start following the rules. To this day, I've not seen that actually take place. So the last 2 years, there's been 4 losing trades. That's it. Made thousands, lost a couple hundred. Again, if you want to check that out, you know where to go. But in that account, we did have NVIDIA, and we had some sold calls, and we did, and by we, I mean I. Again, this is just to show you guys what I'm doing. It's all posted in real time, so you do what you want with that information. But I did let the NVIDIA shares go. I keep saying we. I'm going to name, you know what? Someone said to just name the account we, W-I-I. I'm going to have to from now on, as a matter of fact. Shout out to Monsoon for that. Anyway, I had sold calls on Mara and NVIDIA. And before we get into the stream, talk about an impressive run on Mara. I had 27. Again, people giving me crap because I was like, I'm going to let that go. I called out at the bell right before, like, I'm just going to let these go. That's that. 100% play. Boom. And then we hit that zone and hit like a springboard and we bounce. So anyway, that was close. So we let the calls go. So the we account does still just have the shares. But let's rock and roll. Let's see. Anyone on Robinhood right now? Let's see what Mara's actually at. 26. Hang on, because Robinhood's not open for another 30 minutes as I'm recording this live, so we don't have the Robinhood price. Tom Lee and his small cap stairway to heaven. It is actually not a small cap stock at all. It's your boy. He says omega-3s. Everyone should have that in their diet. I don't know what you're talking about, but you should. I'm a big fan of that. At one point in time, I did talk about some omega-3s I was taking, and I think 75% of the chat was sending me pictures like, hey, after you said it, I got them. That was amazing. Look at that. So I've taken a peek. The dollar gapped down. The S&P, the NASDAQ gapped up. It's pretty significant. Now, I am short the dollar, so this is good news because I already was short, and it was just red. So now we're starting hopefully making a little comeback. British pound, US dollar. I am long this. So am I rich? Yeah. So we got a nice little gap up. This one almost got me. US CAD. I am short this as well. Now we're talking. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. So hopefully those continue. Hopefully the dollar does just continue down. The one thing I will have to worry about is now the overall just trend. I mean, we can talk about zones all day long, but that trend right now, pretty decent. You know, it's a pretty decent channel up. So I don't want any trades. Some are probably just now turning green. I don't think I want to let any of them go red. So I might tighten those up a little bit. Bitcoin at 98K. Will it hit 100? You know, the annoying part about Bitcoin is how many times I said it's probably going to hit 100K tonight. The last 4 days. 96, 97, 98, 99, like 8 something. Come on. We're just teetering around. We were just jacking around with this. Can you imagine if Bitcoin sold off to 75,000 and its high was $99,800? There'd be some people infuriated. that it just didn't go up a couple $100. Anyway, it's honestly, it's not a matter of, in my opinion, not a matter of if, but when. Probably by morning time. Although I've said that the last 3 days. So we'll see. It just keeps making you look like a fool. It does need to check that box, though. So here's the thing. I feel like I want to tell most of the people following me to just chill. 100K actually means jack. It means nothing. It's the same meaning as 97,811 right now. That's what it means. People have it built up in their head like somebody actually cares about this number. Institutions don't. Tesla has it. They don't care about it hitting 100K. They're not selling. There's nothing actionable at 100K. But a bunch of people have this number just built up in their head. It's going to hit that and just rug pull. It's going to turn on a dime. Just a hairpin turn right back down to 16,000. And it's just not. In fact, the more institutions that hold this start to gobble up shares, it's going to make the movements. We did talk about this on an earlier video on Don Fran's show, the YouTube channel. I was talking with Mike. As more institutions grab this, they need it for liquidity purpose. We have brokerages that we have ETF holders. There's a lot of institutions buying this, and they're not there to trade it, which will, one, make it harder and harder to buy Bitcoin. I know how that sounds, but two, it'll also take a lot of the volatility out. And again, none of these guys, BlackRock does not care about 100K. Okay, they're simply not. I would be more worried if there was an institution saying, "Hey, when it gets here, like you would need insider information. Algos turn on at this number. All right, then I'm gonna front run that for sure. But I guarantee any of that information is locked up. You do not have it. So spot Bitcoin was 99,860. How annoying. $140 off? Dumb. That's 100,000. But anyway, I want to say that to my followers that had this just so built up, because it's going to hit it and then nothing's going to happen. But to everyone else, I want it to hit 100,000. Once I can say I told you so. But there's a lot of people that have heard Bitcoin to 100,000 for years and years, and everyone's been spouting and telling you and this and that, and everyone can't wait to say I told you so, but it has not yet. So when it finally does, it'll probably give some validation to those that have been calling it out, but also there's probably a lot of people on the fence that have just disregarded it, called it crap, called it a scam. Largely on the internet up until lately, there was two camps for Bitcoin. It was a scam and it's going to zero, or it's like it's your religion. Things can go to 5 million. There was no in between. But I do think there's a lot of people that once they see 100K, they might think, oh, okay, they'll check some things out again. Like, wait a minute, this thing went. I remember hearing about hitting 100K. All of a sudden, those gears in their brain start working as the first time they heard about it when it's going to hit 100K. Like, oh man, that was 3,000. It jumped up $97,000. What is the next run? And we'll see that. And a lot of people might just be gearing up to buy the dip, which might make the dip buy that much stronger. Whooper says 4 more years. Oh, until it hits 100,000. Anyway, moving on. I don't think. I think me, Kevin, is calling out 102. I said 107. Right now, everyone's making guesses. I do think it'll get above I don't think it's going to hit 100K and turn on the dime. I really don't. 107, again, me throwing darts. Anybody giving a price number as to where that's going to be? There's ways. We've gone over the ways to just kind of look over this. We've measured the bull flags. There's Fibonacci extensions. There's a lot of just technical ways to see kind of where some sellers are at. But even then, I think we're going to start looking like this. It's going to pull back, and we're just looking for a higher low. 2 more immediate trend lines. I will leave you guys with this. There's the moon. I did say 150 a while back. Kind of have this overall trend. Let's extend that out a little bit. And then the more immediate trend right here. I think any one of these is actually probably more of a dip buy. This red line, probably more on the side of a crypto winner. Now we did not get the 85% dip buy. Was it back here? Yeah, back here where we thought. But Bitcoin has crashed 85% a couple times. And so I can say this. When the S&P drops 50%, you just buy it. You stop eating and you buy it, right? That's it. You switch to ramen, but you also think like, ramen, that is also a percentage of a share that I could have, Uh, you make your own decision. But when Bitcoin crashes 85%, like that's the equivalent. You just hammer it. There's a lot of arguments that that won't ever happen again because of now the institutional ownership, but we'll see it. Anyway, thoughts on Dogecoin and XRP? I did buy XRP. Dogecoin, let's just take a look at that real quick. XRP is getting its own video. XRP, and now I've told you guys I don't think it is a meme coin at all. Ooh, Dogecoin starting to break a little bit up, huh? Let's do one video at a time. So I told you guys last time, no matter how it is, we just hit 4,000 followers on TikTok. Appreciate that. Okay, so technicals. All this is a technical play. Whether it's a stock, anything that looks this clean like that's a buy. It's an easy buy. Your stop was 30. Was it 33.5? Was where I said, yeah, 33.5, and you played the breakout up. That's kind of what's panning out right now. If you were short, your stop would have been here, so you would have already stopped out. No matter what you think about Bitcoin, where it's going, or Dogecoin, anything like that, this trade takes 3 brain cells to take. If you're on TikTok, guys, all they can see is just this sideways stuff from the vertical. So here it is. You have sellers above here and buyers below here. That's it. The buyers below here will tell you anything they can dream up. Okay. So will the sellers. That's it. It's important not to just get lost in the noise. It's important to have your plan of, hey, I think this thing's going to zero. Doge boy is wrong, whatever he is. And you put your stop right above that wick. Because as long as that doesn't happen, you could be right. When that happens, the story changes. This might just be a break and a retest. That's probably honestly not a bad dip buy as far as this goes. And now you're talking about a probably more of a trend up on Doge for now. So breaking above that, I would start to focus on this overall trend and hope we stay on that. Just remember these can go down rather quickly. If Bitcoin pulls back, that will be you'll call that a rug pull. I mean, there's people that there's someone in the chat right now is telling you Doge is tanking because of that tiny little red candle at the end. But as long as we're on that trend up, I'd say we're still good. No point in fighting this. There is a lot of hype in this. When you have someone like Elon behind a meme coin, at least talking about it, keeping the spotlight on it, that bodes well for anybody that does have this. If I did have this, I would just be holding it right now. If I was going to add on, I'd say the time is now. The time is now, and I would probably put my stop at 39 cents. I wouldn't want that breaking. I would stop out there, and if I stopped out and it hits this zone, we start bouncing again, then I'm going to get right back in. What I'm not going to do is wake up to this thing down here at 21 cents. Like, oh, that's adorable. There goes all my money. That sucks. All right, XRP. I told you guys a little bit about this on my last video. Let's see how up we're up a lot on this one. So we kind of had a bull pennant right here. We broke out and up over here. XRP, not a meme coin, does have a real use case. It is getting its own video on Don Fran Show. That is my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm streaming on Don Fran Show, Don Fran Trading, and Don Fran Show on TikTok. So if you guys do want to see that, I don't care about jumping you guys off platform. I really don't. But unfortunately, I just can't post the same content on both platforms. So that's where it'll be at. It is worth a deeper dive. I will say the final trigger that made me, or the final thing that made me pull the trigger was it got added to Robinhood. And so I feel like after that scam thing is settled, and now it's getting added back onto brokerages, not brokerages that are, I'm sorry, some of them that just seem a little sketch, I would call them, what do you say, real brokerages? Not to disparage any of the other ones, but I'm pretty comfortable with Robinhood and Coinbase. Where do I see this going? That's actually a tough one right here. Because if it actually gets adopted and is used, it will go much higher. I'm on Coinbase right now, so this actually got off of Coinbase during that whole scam scandal. Did we call it a scandal? It was accused of being a scam. It was taking off everything. What's this habit at? Yeah, the previous high was two. Oh, hang on. These back here, you can look at some of these previous pumps, right? So $3.30 over here, $2 over here. If it's going to get adopted and used, it should clear those should just be pump and dumps compared to what's coming next, and you should see more of a trend up on that one. So Again, I like it. I did buy it. It is not one I'm going to trade. It's just one that I'm going to have, and I hope I make a bunch of money on it. That's it. But I would not put, just to be clear, would not put this in the same category as Doge or Pepe. There's Chillberry or Chill Melon Guy. There's TikTok is usually just flooding everything with all these weird names. Rug Pull is another coin. Would not put that in the actual category of those. Those are literally named after a scam, and people still bought them. Those are just momentary pump and dumps. This one actually does have a real case for it. So I am a fan of this one. This one is XRP. I wish the watermark would just move it over because TikTok can't see that. A coin called a rug pull. Holy yeah, it is. Where is Pepe going? I don't know. I thought we canceled Pepe, but we do have a coin named after him. Let's break it down real quick. So we have right now, as far as Pepe goes, we had the breakup. All we have is just a bunch of inside candles, a bunch of inside sideways. You can call it nonsense, call it noise. You can say a whole lot of nothing is what I would. That's a weird yellow. We're gonna go back to the normal yellow. Anytime there's like a different shade, man, I see it in the DMs. Can you imagine if I left that one that bronze color? So we kind of had this trend down. Ultimately, the buyers still showed up here. So if you look at these yellow boxes, buyers at the bottom, sellers at the top. When that breaks, it will probably continue. So as long as the buyers keep holding this up, you're good. It's a lot of zeros and then 1, 8, 2, 2. But when it gets above here, a lot of zeros, 2, 3, 6, 6, then it'll probably continue. That might be seen as a sign of momentum. So until that breaks, it is sideways until not, honestly. Traditionally, I would have a speed bump zone right here, which is what I do in stocks. That's an hourly zone. If I'm trading futures, I kind of care about that. But if I'm trading, like, let's say I'm going to go short from zone to zone, and we're going to use this pass right here. We're dropping down. I think it's going to go yellow box to yellow box. At this point, this is where I'm looking to probably add on. It's where I expect some turbulence, something to get in the way, not just smooth sailing. Oftentimes I'll tag out, and like this scenario would have tagged out because I'd be short, looking to add on, but then this wick right here would have got me. But that's how I would just keep an eye on that one. Terry says, too many into crypto, time to sell. There is a point to that. But right now, I don't think I would be genuinely nervous if I was in a meme coin right now. Doge will be the last one standing. Pepe, rug pull, melon ball, or whatever that one is. And I don't say it to be sarcastic. This is Pepe. I would genuinely be nervous on these. If Bitcoin does have a pullback and lightning strikes, because that's how it's going to look, there will be no thunder. These are going to get wrecked. And really, some people are thinking, I can't wait to buy the dip. Others are saying like that would really suck. It's only going up. If your plan was to only sell this for a profit, I would really ask yourself right now, how would you be if it sold off? Let's say it cuts in half tonight. Where would that put you and how would you feel? Don't write that off. Like, really answer that question. Bought Pepe for fun. Then I read the description and was like, no. Better off giving my money away. Listen, if you guys want to give your money away, I got plenty of ways to do it. I will start a GoFundMe for fireworks. I'll even video it. I do a lot of fireworks, which I'd probably rather buy a firework than Pepe. At least I got a cool like display out of it. Thanks for a Peloton trade idea last week. I took the exact plan you showed on stream, added on at 940. Could you go over your thoughts at some point? I will go over this, then we got to jump into the futures real quick. Okay, so Peloton, if you guys were here on stream, this is what I drew out. Buy right here, stop right here, 715. That alone, I should see my subscriber count go up just off that. This was live, right? This isn't like, oh, I drew that in the past. I didn't draw this yellow box after it panned out. So all you had to do was just be subscribed, and you would probably still be in this trade if you followed anything like I do. So you would have bought it around 770. It's up to 960. Honestly, right now, I would put my stop in the green at 915. I would kick my feet up on the desk, and that's that. And as it bases out and continues up, I would continue trailing it up. Breaking below 915, I'd probably have to get out. Terry says, take profits. Jesus. Hey, listen, we don't take profits around here. That's what gamblers do. Poor people. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. What I like to do is I put my stop in the green, and what I'm doing is I'm going to bet you a few bucks of my profits that it's going to continue. Now, if that happens to be the absolute peak and turns around, it's going to tag out. But there's been so many times that I thought this was the peak, and I sold a stock in the beginning, and it just went up. It just never stopped. Imagine taking profits on NVIDIA when it was on its run. Right before the split, NVIDIA was at 300, then it went to 500. And I was like, if it pulls back, I'll grab some. Went to 1,000. Okay. Taking profits is probably one of the fastest way to ensure you will not make a lot of money in here. And I know some people do. That's just kind of this, again, my opinion. 1,000 ways to skin the cat. There's just a billion ways to do it wrong. So just to each your own. But even if I think this is the peak, let's say I thought no chance Peloton gets above 965, I would still put my stop in at 945. I would put my stop in at 955 before I actually sold my shares. Because you just never know. Sometimes the gain train just continues. And that's how you manage a green trade. There's no such thing as managing red trades. Okay. You bought it. It went down. Sucks to suck. You move on. There's no adding on, no doubling down. Here's the double down right here. I told you guys if it gets down to here, you should have added on right there. I was going to buy one right here, add on right here, same stop, and then send it. So in theory, you should have two positions in this. This is how your trade should have panned out right here. Let's just scoot this over. That's what your trade should actually, if you're paying attention to the stream, that's actually what it was. I already had my stop at 915. I'm learning well. Nice. That's exactly what I'm doing, trailing. Nice. Am I doing options trading? Yeah, I trade all asset classes. Terry says I do. I'm still learning. Nice. Use a running stop loss. This I actually do not. Running stop losses where you just put like a dollar amount or something like that behind. I do that on Forex when I've made more money than I could just imagine I was going to make, and I don't want to look at it anymore. It happens. It's rare. But a lot of times, so I'll give you guys this right here. So like this is where my stop would have been at. There it is. And then we break above this zone, so my stop goes right here. It's in the green, 775. I'm in the green. Risk is off the table. We've now based out. I've moved it up to here, so there's 815. We get above this zone. I'm right here, 855. Typically, I'm 2 candles back of the actual live candle. So right now, that's why I'm saying my stop, 915, right below. That's 912. Here we go. So now my stop would be right here. Now, we have wicks going every direction, so as long as that continues up, you're good to go. If it comes down, you're tagging out. But if that continues up, I'll then move it right up to here, 945. And I'll just keep doing that. And I manually do it every time. Now, I trade on screen, so all I got to do is click. Like, I just click with my thumb, drag it up, and let go. That's how hard it is for me to move it up. Sucks if you're on it. With Robinhood, you got to click replace order, so it takes a little bit longer. Still a much better way of doing things than just the I'll trail it $1 behind, because a lot of times it'll drop down, jump back up. It's going to tag you for no reason, and it just sucks. I've found that trailing stop losses get you out of a trade on a quick wick, only to continue the trend. Exactly, Lisa. I wish I'd read that right before I just said that. But yeah, everyone I've talked to that actually puts on the stop losses like that, it happens. It's a wick. It tags that position out, and it's like you take it personal. It's hard not to. It's like they saw your order and grabbed it. What's easier to be profitable, stocks or Forex? Ooh, stocks by a long shot. Well, for most people, Forex it's faster. I do trade it. It's one that I encourage you to paper trade first, because that's where banks go to manipulate other banks. Stocks are turtles. If you can't handle a stock moving, you for sure can't handle Forex. That's all there is to it. You want to know what an actual earthquake is or what real volatility is? Go to Forex on a 15-minute time frame and watch what happens. You'll get ran over. All right. That's awesome, man. Congrats on that Peloton trade. And anyone else who took that trade. Let's jump into it. All right, the S&P gapped up. So we gapped above that zone, which told me nobody wanted to jack around right here. Buy that whole order book up right here. That's our next order. So nice green open. We have a short week this week. We should be, I think we're closed on Thursday. We should be closed on Thursday, Turkey Day. Open half day on Friday, which might as well be closed. The stock market can't be closed for 4 days. That's a rule, which is why Friday's open half a day. I promise it will be you and someone you saw in the TikTok chat in the market that Friday. It will be a ghost town. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to manage maybe what you swung on Wednesday night. Maybe you need to get out. Maybe there is a dip buy or something. If we send it full blown retail week is what I call them because it's just retail traders. Be careful because the banks might just come back and say that's adorable, but that stock actually belongs down here. So now that happens both ways. So just know that the Monday of next week, you have everyone back in. They might not like where you put the pieces on the board. So just remember that over your weekend swing. Duke's asking about XRP. Listen, you're going to have to, at this point, jump over to Don Franz Show on YouTube and watch the beginning. I did go over that as well. I will go over Amazon here in a bit. I see that in the chat. Okay, here's your expected moves. If you guys have my charts, as technician says, I was on my A game, had this done yesterday. So I got all that updated. If you have my chart link, anybody on the Patreon or anything like that, you guys have all my charts. You have all my yellow boxes. You also have these lines now. And that's, again, where we expect where market makers actually expect the range to be at this week. The NASDAQ is the interesting one because we're in a sideways range. That's what these red lines are right here. Inside, so we have one red day. Inside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 6th day. We've had a whole trading week inside this one red day. And we gapped right to the end of it. Now, getting above and closing above is likely your signal that we're going up. Getting below, closing below, likely your signal to go down. So I love that the gap open happened and we didn't just instantly reject, but that is where I'm watching right now. That kind of has my attention, has my ears perked a little bit of, are we going to reject right here? Are we going to, because tomorrow might be green, turn, and then we just sell it right back off. It ends up being a wick. That is not a close. That's still a rejection. Still sellers hanging out right there. I'd say you got a strong case for that to continue. Plus, the overall trend is up, so you would still just want to be long. So do options expire early on Friday also? Yes. How do we join the Patreon? When this is a recording, it will be in the top pinned comment. But it should just be patreon.com/Don Franz Show. If you go to my last YouTube video on Don Franz Show, it'll be the pinned comment there as well if you want to just be lazy and click. I get it. I'm lazy too. I prefer to just click things instead of typing it. Be easy to find there. So tech, looking there. I don't know. My vote up. I think we're going to test this upper zone right here, which is right where the expected move is at for the week as well. Looking at the Dow, I did not do the Dow. Dow gapping to all-time highs. So we got the headlines in there. Dow gaps to all-time highs. Opens. Anyway, in a bullish market, the all-time highs headlines are about every other day anyway. But we're just going for it. Did I? This is probably not accurate. I did not do the Dow, I don't think. As a matter of fact, let's check that out real quick. Maybe. Oh, come on. JK. I'll just do it on my phone real quick. We'll get the expected move and I'll put it in there real fast. Who's excited for Turkey Day? I would eat a turkey's weight in deviled eggs, I think. Anyone ever had the deviled eggs with the slice of jalapeno and bacon on top? Could absolutely destroy those right now. All right, November 29th, 491 is the expected move. So let's go back to the daily. Let's go 491. Oh, gosh, come on. All right, let's do the lines here since we can't do anything else. All right, so 448.09. 448. Oh, nah, I'm not gonna remember that. 448. Oh, 9. All right, 438.24. All right, there's your expected moves for the Dow. Rocking and rolling. Just saying, Arby's all month. Deep fried turkey sandwiches. Never had it. Bacon and jalapeno. Lisa, you need to have it. It's amazing. There's a Firebirds is a restaurant out here. I always get that lobster bisque, nachos and lobster. It's anyway, cheese with lobster in it. That's my appetizer. The deviled eggs and that. You get a steak. It's what amazingness tastes like, or heaven. DJT. Should I put my stop in at $28? I would. Let's see. 28.45 would be my stop. Ooh, hopefully it sends it. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is just rock this thing below that zone. I'm so mad I didn't sell those juicy puts on DJT the day before election day. Oh, I bet. Chill guy going up. Go buy. Hopefully. All right. Man, I would be interested in a dip buy on Amazon as well. If Amazon actually could get to 193, I think it'd be a great dip buy. With tech actually gapping up, wouldn't surprise me to see it actually already up here in that zone. Okay, let's talk about letting Nvidia go. Let Nvidia go, and what I'm going to buy next is not because I don't like Nvidia. I still do, and in my main account, Nvidia is not going anywhere. But there is another one that I am adding, and you guys know what it is. AMD. So Nvidia is probably a true AI play. Everyone is only worried about Nvidia for AI stuff. You know, it's like 90% AI. AMD, as far as like their products that they sell, the chip that is comparable that competes with Nvidia is, I think, it's like 40% of what they do. So when it comes to dollars per AI, AMD is a lot less, but I do think AMD is catching up. So they are a proud family. They are cousins, by the way. So they actually are related, not the companies, but the CEOs. But the reason why I'm choosing AMD is because if you look at it, AMD just looks like a dip buy. AMD's cheaper right now. I have an alert to buy AMD right here at 132.45. So that pink line with that little clock, that is my alert to actually buy some. Whether we get it or not, I think I just got to start buying right now. We already dipped down. We got kind of close, but we gapped right back up, ultimately holding this. So what I'm going to do is I think we'll get more share appreciation out of AMD in the near term than we do NVIDIA. You know, so just mentally picture this. We kind of have this going on. Not a bad chart at all. Dip buy, you know, possibly a decent trend going on here. You know, things are looking good for AMD as far as I'm concerned. Company-wise, everything about it, good. I think computing went down a lot in the during the pandemic. I know that hurt them a little bit. I think they're about to step their game up. You guys heard me talk about this earlier this year at the beginning as to why I was looking at them. Now, NVIDIA came up and just got they stepped their game up because you started hearing CEOs talk about we need this many NVIDIA chips to we need this much compute power. I don't care what the name is. That was a drastic change for me because there was just a backlog of back order for NVIDIA chips. I was like, man, that forces you, if you need that now, that forces you to go to a competitor. So I thought that was going to be our edge. NVIDIA was like, all right, overtime for everybody, make it happen. You know, they killed it with that. So NVIDIA still absolutely amazing. But I think NVIDIA needs to take a breather. And NVIDIA does. It goes up, and then it goes sideways for a long time, and then it just goes up again. I think this is actually going to be one of the times it does go sideways. And I think AMD will catch up, so I am buying the dip on this one. And I will sell calls. If you actually spend the same amount percentage-wise, it's the same. You gotta spend a little bit more for NVIDIA right now, and you collect a couple bucks more. But as far as selling calls against the shares, which is what we will do in the account, it'll still be weekly income. But that being said, still a few more bucks in NVIDIA. But I would rather have this go up than NVIDIA go down. We're chasing it. Colton says, I see a trend line. I go all in. Cody, it's the automatic money destroyer. Yeah, I know. That's what everyone keeps saying. Advanced money destroyer, because it's advanced micro. But Cody says, fifth loss coming in. No, it's not happening. Technician says, you mean the Alibaba NVIDIA? Yeah, we used to call this the poverty NVIDIA. Before NVIDIA split, if you couldn't afford it, you just bought AMD. But now, for a while there, AMD was more expensive than NVIDIA. But anyway, this does have its own video coming in. Let's check out Google real quick. Let's do Google and Meta while we're on some of the big heavy hitters. Anyway, you're going to get that alert tomorrow morning. So, Google. That's another dip buy right here. For everyone on TikTok, guys, when it comes to my yellow boxes, I just click buy. It really is that simple. It might take you a little bit longer to draw your own boxes, but it won't take long to figure out when it gets to this yellow box what I do. Case in point, on the last stream, we were in the yellow. We're getting to the yellow box. Time to buy, and then sent it. So that's kind of what I hope happens, especially with Google. So they do have to sell Chrome. They have to divide Chrome. That finally is official. We saw that red day there. So looking to pick up. This is a dip buy for Google, I think, especially overall trend right here. Now it pays a dividend now. 20 cents. Now I know my name now is the NASDAQ, but for a time period there, it was Dividend Don. My top dividend stocks being Meta, Tesla, and NVIDIA. Would you be treating AMD as a trade or a long hold? It's at least a medium-term hold. It is not an investment, but I'm at least 6, 8, 10 months. I'm going to sell some calls against it. So it will not be like, hey, we're going to get in now and probably out the next day kind of thing. We're going to use it for a little bit. I think it appreciates quite a bit over the year. I was also looking at buying or selling puts on MU and on. They may be a good substitutes for AMD. Oh, and on ON. Okay. Let's see. What am I trading? What you trading? Right now I got a few on there. US CAD, short, British pound, US dollar, long, Mara, Beto, SMCI. Let's do that. Let's do Meta real quick. I might buy some Google tomorrow. Google's not usually ever really up there for me, but I do like a good dip buy. Meta's kind of just been hanging out. Really a whole lot of nothing, but we did just break below. So as far as Meta goes, if you're looking for a dip buy, I would wait for the 540 mark. If you're looking to sell puts, I think 540 puts would be a good one to sell. It does tie up quite a bit of capital, so I don't think there's a few in my chat that do. I don't think that's for everyone, though. Cody says, instead of AMD, PayPal me. I'll put it this way. I'm going to take that AMD play, and I don't care if anybody follows me, but I don't want to hear it. Nobody bought SMCI either. Now, SMCI, it's going up. Stops in the green. This is not one that's going to be a hold for me. I know some people are starting to tout that it is, and that's cool. As long as we're on the gain train, I'll be in this, but this one could be out tomorrow, maybe a couple days from now. It would need to stay at this pace for me to probably get out of this. Why AMD not a long-term investment? Right now, the growth count's not really in an investing stage yet. We're still growing. I have AMD and NVIDIA in my investment account. So SMCI doing well. I'll sell some calls this week. But the thing is, with calls on SMCI, if that sells off, that call goes down, I'm going to buy it back and get out of this stock. It's not going to be one that I'm holding. But breaking above this zone could be cool. Hope there's a gap fill that sends it to 48. I know a lot of technical people might be talking about that. Sweet. But I'll be tightening. If I'm still in it by this point right here, I would be tightening up my stop. Gets to that $40 mark. We like money fast. Yeah, the We account. Exactly. WII. Selling more puts on MicroStrategy and MSTX. Also calls on the shares that I already have. I guess it wouldn't be a stream with Bitcoin with not talking about MSTR. Get wrecked, nerd. Just kidding. What a day. This got a little bit excited compared to Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin's going up, so is MicroStrategy, and then momentum traders just come in and devastate this thing. Sends it to crazy highs. I mean, this makes a leverage play on Bitcoin look like a turtle. And then clearly that's where the sellers are. Dropped it all the way back down. Air was just getting thin. And remember this, guys, planes are not rockets. When they try to play rocket, they eventually just run out of thrust. They run out of altitude. They do hit a ceiling. Then they start to stall. That's when they come back down. Hopefully you can get that thing corrected, and it's not just a pump and dump would be where the plane actually crashes. I would be cautious with this. But there's quite a few people in my group that are selling puts, selling calls. They have puts sold on this, and even after this, was still able to roll it down and out and get paid. The puts, the premium on MicroStrategy right now is outrageous. Which is it's great for an option seller. As an options buyer, it's wild. What's funny is my admin, I was talking to him about buying puts right up here. I look at the 450. No, way too much. And I even entertained the idea of a 400. I said, who is buying these things? That is ridiculous. I would have absolutely killed it. But even the price alone got me out of buying puts on that. Would have been an absolute great play. But I don't know. That is wild. Cody says he rolled his MicroStrategy strike down $50 and still collected $400. How wild is that? Lori says, how about a BFF on MicroStrategy? You're double bullish. I think I would rather do that if it got a little bit lower. I think I would wait a little bit on that one. Months ago, before everyone started trading it, you've been selling options. Yeah, that's my group's been in it for, and this is not a competition. We've been in it for some time. We have some solid ones. There's a couple people in my group that are just they're in this thing. They've been in it. They will be in it. They've seen these pumps before, so it's one that we break down pretty regularly. But when the traders jumped in like this, the momentum traders, market makers and institutions, they saw that my dollar signs in their eyes. They were going for it. They've been trading since 2021. That's wild. The premium is insane, even picking up a super low delta. Yeah, and I usually make fun of people buying the super low deltas because I'm usually the one selling to them, so it's been a very profitable business. But even the super low deltas, it is like, should I buy another car or should I buy a MicroStrategy put? And then that's just 100% loss if you're wrong. Crazy. Hang on, let me do this for Terry. Gold dropping, kind of at a speed bump zone. Nothing I would be too worried about. That's I would probably once that chills out on the hourly, I would probably consider that a dip buy if we're still kind of trending up along this. I wouldn't be the first buyer in this just yet. All right, ladies and gents, I do have to he says I caught the last segment of SMCI. What did you think? Honestly, right now, I'm holding. I'm trailing. As long as it keeps going up, I'm there. I think if they're not going to get delisted, it kind of seems like that's maybe the route we're going to take. It could be a decent trade. I don't know if it's one that it's not a hill I would die on. If it does well, I'm like a fair weather fan. As long as it's doing well, I'm in. But when that thing turns, I'm the friend that's down the street. Like I'm gone. I'll put it that way. All right, ladies and gents, sorry if I couldn't get to everybody, but make sure you do me a huge solid. Share this. That's what I need. You can follow. You can do all that. hit the thumbs up. More importantly, if you guys could share, that's what's been killing it on the growth side lately, which ultimately is the goal. But I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will see you guys probably Tuesday. Yeah, have a good one.